Good morning, everyone. We are leveling up big time today because today is the install for the CTS. Today's game plan, we're gonna finish our merch sweatshirts that we started last week.
Sick.
So we're gonna print the fronts, get the neck labels in, all that, and complete. We will do a little bit of embroidery, get you up to speed on that, hopefully, and some stickers. Probably. I think we got 1,000 stickers printed that need to be laminated, cut out the door.
Okay.
And then around like 2 or 3 o'clock, the CTS install happens.
Sure.
It's going to be awesome. So that's later today and then pretty much all day tomorrow, I think. Oh shit! Yeah, Ed's got his
gotta play the
fancy
Zelda
new jacket.
the
here.
Zelda theme when he opens the chest. Redo. Pretty sick though.
Yeah, it did turn out.
That's all you, big dog.
So yeah, that is the game plan. So once we get all of the sweatshirts out of the way and whatever, we gotta take all these boxes out, get the CTS in place, ready for the guy, and yeah, this is our last time printing film today.
It's a sad moment.
No, it's not.
Tears of joy.
There you go.
Something else we implemented in the shop is now everybody here is getting a bonus. Once a month, whoever comes up with the best or the most lean improvements in the shop is gonna get $100. And this month's winner is Jordan. Fresh, crisp, $100 bill.
Is it real?
It's pretty legit.
Could be fake.
That's for coming up with that washout booth stuff that you came up with. A little mat, wiping your feet on the way out. We have not had to mop that shit at all.
Good job, Jordan.
Way to go.
It's your boy.
All right. Everyone knows what they're doing?
Nope.
You have no idea. Sounds good. All right. I need a bigger drill bit. Get the fucking heads off. Shit. All right, 1 second. Fuck off.
Shit.
Rolled so far.
Oh, you got long fucking alien arms.
Okay, so one thing we got to do before the CTS gets installed is I got to change the brackets out on my pre-registration pallet. About a year ago, right when I first started using this press, I had a little bit of an accident. I didn't know to lock the screens in a certain way, and when I was rotating the press, one of the screens fell out before it was actually locked in, and caught this board, ripped the screen, just like folded it in half, ripped this board right off the press, and annihilated these brackets. And I was able to kind of get them fixed for the most part for the last year, but this one has been pretty beaten out, so you could kind of grab it and shimmy it around a little bit, which when we're going over the CTS, that's not going to be good. We need to fix that and make it tight. So I got some brand new brackets. We're going to rivet them on here real quick, and then we're back to new again. These hoodies turned out sick. It's been a long time since I've been able to make something for myself and actually make some merch for you guys. So these are available now at roguelabmfg.com. Click the link in the description and you can go pick one up for yourself. New merch is the good news, but unfortunately we got a little bit of bad news. My tech for the CTS install, he just gave me a call. His flight was delayed, so he's not gonna be in until midnight tonight, so unfortunately we're gonna lose half a day, but he'll be here bright and early tomorrow morning to start this thing up, and we will get the CTS running.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Come on in.
Hello. So where's the spider?
Right there.
All right. All right. Where's it going to reside at?
Right here. We're gonna wheel these out of the way and put those in. Okay, so John is here now. He's gonna do a little bit of assembly on the CTS before we get it running, and then we're gonna get it calibrated, test it, all that fun stuff.
That's right. Yes, we'll do a jet test, make sure everything's functioning right. We'll check out the gauges, check out the hardware, double check everything, make sure everything's connected and plugged in, and then we'll be able to start it up and get some screens made.
Awesome. I've never seen a CTS run in person before, so I'm pretty stoked for this.
Yeah, so I have a question for you. The one thing I noticed about the v-lux is there's no handle on the door to open it. Is there a reason for that?
No reason. It's been requested by other sites to have a handle, but it's just an extra cost, I guess. But I don't really have an answer on why it does not have a handle.
Yeah.
Or a space where you could put your hand to open the door.
Well, there you have it. I'm putting a handle on this thing.
Okay, so this is the drum. Its purpose is to bring the screen out further than the frame, because sometimes you'll have frames that are kind of cattywampus or they're not square. So this will bring the screen out just enough where the frame is set further back. So that's the purpose of this guy.
Nice. And then let's say we wanted to like pop a different screen size in there or something like that.
What
How
you would
easy is
need
that?
to do, we have larger and smaller drums for different size screens, from 20 by 24 to 30 by 40. Actually, 24 by 36.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something else I was wondering from the last video we shot, this PC just controls the unit itself. We still need that secondary PC to control the RIP.
That's correct, yes.
Why isn't there just a more powerful PC that can do both right in one spot?
Well, we don't want the computers to, like, if you have a computer go down, you'll lose your RIP and your software to the machine. So we just kind of want to divide that out.
Okay.
Yeah, we want them to be running separately. That way, in case you have an issue on one, you don't have an issue on other. There's still ways you can produce screens without it.
Okay, that makes sense.
See, I said in the last video there's probably a reason for that, and of course there is, and now I look stupid.
Air power supply box, or the APS box. We have a couple of power supplies, and within these power supplies you have more power supplies. You also have a 12 volt power supply here. This is the actual computer here. We have a vacuum system here. This is all digital, so it should maintain the machine properly that way.
Nice.
Control the air.
So this thing just runs like auto cleaning cycles and all that type of stuff?
It does. With this new software, it will actually disperse some wax, or out of the print head. That way, it'll alleviate clogs in the future, or should you have any.
And then how long does the warm-up cycle take?
45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
It depends on the environment too.
Oh, wow.
If it's real cold in here, it could take a little bit longer, but not much.
Not bad. We get like a little readout of it and everything there, right?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Now these points here that you see, those are the thresholds. That's where it's going to bring the temperature up to. And these are the readers here. We have a lowest, that's the low ink feed. That measures the temperature inside the print head. Okay, so here we have the Spyder 2. I'm just going to kind of go over, I guess, from top to bottom, the components of the machine. Here we have a top bracket. This is our clamp. We control it with using the foot pedal here. And that kind of pushes the screen in and brings the screen out so the print head can print on the screen and get a good quality image. You also have your bottom bracket. Now this can also be adjusted for smaller screen frames, like 20 by 24. This is obviously a 23 by 31. And then we also have a larger size too. But this can actually come out, and you put the other one in, and it kind of reduces the print area. And what's really important about that is you always have to choose the correct template for the correct.
I was just gonna say, so it's like kind of plug and play for the most part, but you just gotta.
Yes, if you're using one screen, no problem. You just select and hit print and go like that, one after another, and that's fine. But if you're running a different screen, you have to make sure that the template is right for that particular screen. It's very important. Here we have a ball screw. We have rails here, and when you're doing maintenance, it's very light. You use either sewing oil, or you can use 3-in-1 oil. just a drop here and
all
here.
the rails,
and all
yeah.
the rails, yeah. And as it's in motion, it will spray that oil out. I mean, you don't need much. As you can feel right now, it's kind of dry.
We got plenty of that right over there on the embroidery machine.
Right, yep. Okay, so we also have, this is the X rail. We have our print head cover. I'll take that off. You'll see the print head. We have a ink feed right here.
Oh,
This
there's
is
got the
where-
wax in there?
Yep, there's wax in there already. Now this particular component holds like maybe 2 or 3 pucks of wax.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when the gauge says empty, you're really not totally empty. You still have enough, but it allows you to put wax in before it gets too low.
Nice.
You also have the print head, data cables, heater cables, and these are the hoses to vacuum and also have positive pressure. Below that, we have more electronics here. We have a couple boards. We have an I/O board. This controls everything in the machine. You have your power supplies. This is your data. We call this a meteor box. This holds the data for the images. And this here is what we call a PCE2 card. This transfers all the information from the computer to the input-output box through here to the print head. This is a APS box, air power supply box. This holds all the power supplies and all the air as vacuum and positive pressure too. Here we have our low vac. This is a very important gauge here. This actually keeps the wax inside the print head. So it has to be at 1.9 or 1.8. Anywhere from 1.8 to 2. Just put it that way. This is your ink feed. This is controlled. Whenever the print head needs ink, it will supply the print head with wax. Okay, purge. This doesn't even actually work until you actually purge. Now, if you're printing and you experience a line, you can actually leave the image up, hit purge, and I'll go over that later. What it'll do is it'll expel wax from the front of the print head and hopefully clear that jet out. Yeah. If you still have your image up on there, you can actually print over that and cover the line.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
so you don't waste any screens that way.
That's sweet. Yeah. And so these are our pressure settings for these?
That's correct. These
Stay
knobs,
calibrated.
yeah, they control the gauges here. We have a high vacuum system here. This is meant to fluctuate from anywhere from -20 to -25.
Yep.
So right now it may seem low, but the optimal range is -22. You have USB ports here. That way, in case if you ever lose network connectivity or anything like that, you can always rip in the RIP computer, save the file, and then bring it over here on the USB stick. So you're not totally out. This here is a filter. We need to keep that clean. It's a visual type of a thing. If you see it dusty, go ahead and just pull it out, air it out, but keep it away from the spider. It's the dust. The dust is the spider's worst enemy. So we want to keep that clean. And the reason we want to keep that clean is because the power supplies, they have their own fans and everything.
pulling stuff in
and
too,
if they
and
get
you
a
see
lot
it
of
there.
dust, they'll seize and overheat the power supplies. So that's important.
No problem. We keep a clean shop.
Nice.
Dust will be in a minute.
Yes, I can see that. We also have a track here. This has all the hoses and cables that the spider needs to print on the screen.
Cool.
And that's basically it for now. So this is a wax catcher. If you purge, this will catch the wax and put it in a little trough here.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. In the back of the X row, we have a belt, a Kevlar belt, and then we have an encoder. The encoder actually reads the information and puts it on the
Oh,
screen.
yeah, the
So it's
encoder, yeah.
important to keep that clean
Yeah.
as well. You can clean the belt with alcohol. Also the encoder strip here behind the X rail.
Yeah.
Just a lint-free cloth and alcohol is good.
That's-
Now I know these fans will get kind of dusty in time. You get to maybe blow those out. Just make sure that the print head, the dust doesn't come near the print head at all. So you
Yeah.
don't want any dust near the print head. Oh, actually, this is the X. If you notice here,
Yeah,
it
it's the
moves.
printer coming in and out.
Yeah, we use our eyes to actually see the distance between the screen and the print head, and we don't rely on the numbers. But what we do is we put a little piece of tape here. That way, the operator will know that it's on target all the time.
Awesome. Gives me something else to make a sticker for. Yeah. So, are we ready to start testing?
Right now, it's after a cold start, it's going to overheat a little bit. What it's doing is it's actually liquefying the wax a little more, the viscosity of it.
It'll go
That
up
way,
and bring itself back down.
that's correct. Yeah. So inside the print head and inside the ink feed, it's going to liquefy the wax where it can actually start functioning inside the machine well. So but it'll come back down to normal temperature. Once it's done that, we'll probably perform a purge, run a jet test, see what it looks like. If we get jets out, we'll do another purge. Until we get a good clean jet test, then we can start calibrating. Purge?
So we're gonna do a purge.
Yes. Yep, this is going to be the first print, so I'm going to do a purge and then we'll do a jet test. So the wax is going to actually expel. It doesn't use any electronics, just uses air pressure to expel wax from the print bed.
Okay.
Level here, we're at half a tank here. So what we want to do is we want to be at 3/4 of a tank or full. If it's full, don't add any more wax, but I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate adding a puck of wax to the system. So these are what the wax looks like in its enclosed compartment. I'll open that up. And the casing is brittle, so it'll allow you to open it up.
Oh, nice.
If you have dirty hands or anything, I would wash them or wear gloves before putting this in the system. We don't want any contaminants. If you drop it on the floor, might as well just throw it away. But make sure it's nice and clean. Make sure your hands are not gritty or anything like that. So I'm just going to drop that wax right in here. And I'm going to let it melt. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes for it to melt. But you can actually operate the machine while it's printing.
Oh, sweet.
We got a jet test printed. This thing is crazy. Like, this looks like solid color. It is not. These are tiny little fine lines, a crap load of them. It's unbelievable the level of detail that this thing can print. So next thing John has to do is a bidirectional test and get the bidirectional printing set up. What that means is the print head is printing in both directions. It's moving back and forth. It's something that I know a little bit about from my wide format printer in the garage. And you know, it takes a little bit of time to set up, but once you get it, print speeds go way up. So with the bidirectional testing, what he's doing right now is he's trying to get these little tiny dots to perfectly kind of stack up on top of each other. We're pretty close. You can see right now there's like a tiny little gap between them, but 1 or 2 more tries, we should be there.
So next test you're doing is for halftones?
For halftones, yes. We're checking the tones between passes. It's going to lay down, it's going to swath 6 times on the top and 6 times on the bottom. We need to make sure those halftones are even.
Nice.
Or matched. Okay, we want to look at it in light. It's obviously printed on paper, so it's going to be a little bit different than when it's printed on screen. But this kind of gives you a benchmark of what to look for. We have the halftones in here, and we want to make sure that they're even between the passes. And there's no stitch line on this one either, so this is a good print.
Calibration stage is done. Everything's looking good. We saw some test prints coming out of this thing. It's absolutely unreal. So next thing we got to do is set up the RIP computer, get that all going, and then we'll move on to training and actually start using this thing. Yeah, so we're gonna print this design because this design has a perfect flat straight surface on the top. So what we're trying to figure out is the distance from the collar of the shirt down to the top of the design. So I know this one is gonna hit at 3 inches down on our old system. So hopefully we can get this new system with the CTS to line up to the same spot. And this is just an easy design to figure that out with. So let's get that going on the RIP. Sending to the RIP. Oh, look at you go. So this computer, we don't even have to touch. It's just running shit in the background, right?
So let's drag that whole folder into Dagger. So if you want to look at it, you can preview it here.
There we
now,
go.
if you need a closer view of it, we'll hit that button, and we can like look at it as a 1-bit TIFF. I think it looks great.
Well, not so sensitive, is it?
Right. Now all we have to do is hit print. Now, just a bit of advice. It will always print the file on the top. You can have 50 of these. It's always going to print the one on top. You select this one, it's going to print the one on top.
Okay, cool. Let's say, so like for my separations, do I have to change anything in the workflow for that? So like for if I'm putting a choke on this, which this probably wouldn't have on it, typically I would put like a stroke on there, white, to choke it off so it's not a spot color. So this thing will read it the same. Will it knock that out?
That I don't know, because whenever you say white, it thinks it's the paper.
That's what, yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
want. I
So
want to knock
what
that
some
part
people
out.
do, like whenever they do the white underbase, they don't choose white. They choose like a.
Oh no, I mean like white as the choke. So like this
Oh, okay.
this is my underbase.
Yes, it
this
should
color.
print.
So yeah, I should. I
should
don't want it
apply.
to print the white strokes on there
Right.
because that's creating my
Got it.
choke. So I'm thinking that's gonna be the same. I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see.
Let's go ahead and hit print. Yep. Let's go.
Oh, feels good pressing that button.
So if we look down here, it says last image print job 88 seconds.
Nice.
And it tells you how many pixels were involved.
Oh, that's badass.
What I like to do is I like to look at it in the light. Make sure it
That's
capturing.
black as hell.
Yes, it is.
That's probably do that. So what I'm doing is just trying to get palette marks here, make sure I got my distance down from the collar where the art's gonna lie to match up with what's coming out of the CTS, and we're golden. We're printing sharp.
Yeah.
We're pretty close. So we just got to move the pallets around a little bit. I feel like we're pretty good. So we're good on the height by the look of it. We just got to kind of do one little pallet adjustment to get it to land exactly where it needs to be. That's very simple. So the next thing we got to do is expose an image and start dialing this thing in. So next, what's the next step?
We need to find our exposure times. So let's print an image. Let's add some time, let it expose, wash it out, and see where we stand.
So yeah, you want to do something solid or something with halftones first?
Let's try something solid first. Get more complex.
Okay, cool. So question, does this thing have any sort of like exposure step test built into it so you can test your exposure settings?
No, we don't. But we've been talking about making a digital file. That way we can
Yeah.
have like a calculator basically for that
It
reason.
would be sweet to have something like that so you know if you're exposing properly or not,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So, all right. So we got the rip working, all the computers are linked up. This thing is printing awesome. So the next thing to figure out is the exposure time in the new exposure unit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try the stock times that are already pre-programmed in there just to see what it looks like. I'm gonna tape a little step strip on there to make sure we're exposing properly and get these times dialed in, and then we can probably get this thing to work. So our first exposure test went pretty well, except we are way overexposed, which is crazy. We went down to 8 seconds on this exposure time, which is far less than I had it before. So obviously the lights in that new exposure unit are way more powerful than what I had. We got to do probably another test or two to get this right, but yeah, we're pretty close. Yeah, so when you see how many steps are left, it'll tell you multiply or divide the time by this many to hit the proper amount of steps.
Yeah.
So it did say to go down to like 2.8 seconds, and I went to 5. Like, yeah, it seems like not enough, but apparently I'm wrong.
All right.
So
3.
third time's the charm. This is exposed, right? I don't feel nothing here.
God, it's a recording screen. Oh, it kind of looked better.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. It took a long time to get through that.
That's a lot of abuse.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close. We're down into just milliseconds now, adjusting.
Which way?
I'd probably go back up a little bit. It feels like we're a little bit underexposed, just barely. But I mean, like, we'll probably stay where we're at. It's
What
like,
would you do? Like
the only thing that would affect, like, we print plastic. So unless we're printing a run that's like thousands of pieces, this screen's not going to break down anytime soon. So I think we're pretty good leaving it there to mess around with for a while.
maybe get up 3?
For that one, yeah, for 225s.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. So it took us 3 screens to get to our exposure level for 225s. We're pretty close. It's just a matter of adjusting milliseconds up or down. But I mean, I stress tested. I sat there with the pressure washer on it, just blasting the crap out of it for a good like 30 seconds before it burned through it. So I think we're pretty good. Interested to try half donuts now. Let's see if we can get the one emulsion solution. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any black in it though. We need something that's got like a solid outline because we're printing on a 300 mesh, right? So I guess we could stick the base on there and be fine. Then we should be golden. Let's do 65. I want to push the limits.
I want to push the limits.
I just don't have one that like looks really good on camera. Fuck. All right, we're going with Frankenstein. That one has like the most coverage on it.
Okay.
So in this case now, when I want to print just this one color, I'll turn all the other ones off and only that one will show up over there.
LPI on that one? You want to choose 60?
Yeah, let's do
Because right
65.
now it's 53.
What's possible on a 225 mesh anyways? Let's check this. Let's do it at, let's do 60. Go right down the middle.
Can you log in here and I'll change that to 60?
Very good. Got a few of them going on there. It's weird that we're not getting these though, because we got smaller shit going on that that tattoo screen. Maybe it's just
Maybe to wash it a
it's
bit
a
more.
washout problem.
Yeah.
Let's try this. Weird, because we got smaller dots on that tattoo design to come out than what's come out on this. So what the hell's going on? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, we got way smaller stuff to come out on
This
this.
is fucking shading of it.
What am I missing here? Is that an exposure problem? How do we explain that one? It's because there was so much density, maybe? So we're getting, on that one, we got way smaller dots to expose. On this one, we're losing.
The exposure time, I mean, there were 2 different exposure times, right? In this one and that one?
No, the same.
Same?
So
2 seconds? I thought this was a...
They were both 2 seconds. So like, is that a density thing? Like maybe because there was so much stuff close together on those? That
It
those
might
two
be,
was
yeah, they might-
Whereas these ones are very sparse. They're all, none of them are coming out.
Right.
And those dots are way bigger than the ones that came out on that. We try it again at 55 and see what happens.
Yes.
1.6, yeah.
And done.
Okay, that's ridiculous. If this is our actual exposure times moving forward, like man, we're gonna be speeding up a lot. Like our press setup time is gonna be. And we still haven't gotten on the press yet to see like
registration.
how fast
and
this
shit.
registers.
Yeah. It's fast as fuck.
That's fast. That is fast.
Between the print, if that took 88 seconds, that'd be a minute 28, plus the 1.6 seconds. So you have a workable screen in no time.
Yeah, in under 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
We managed to retain this area because that area was having problems before. Yeah, we shouldn't be losing some of these. I don't know what's happening here. 'Cause these are fucking huge dots. All these are gigantic, and then we're losing all. Yeah, something's not right here. You see those? How big those dots are?
Yeah.
They're not coming up. Whereas on there, or the other ones, sorry, they're like literally a quarter that size and they're washed out.
It could be maybe a calibration curve.
Like, is something changing between my files to the one that you guys have there somehow? Like a, density or something? I don't know.
It could be, yeah. I don't know how that was ripped or when it was ripped. We just use it for samples that they give it to all the spiders. Just so.
Is there any way to see that?
Say again?
Is there any way to see that information?
Like the original file?
Just like, how that thing's coming out of the printer, like what settings it's running.
Okay, they're all using the same settings from the rip, the angle and all that stuff. That particular unit, or that particular image, I don't know what the parameters were when they made that. I don't even know where they got it from.
Yeah, because there's something obviously much different with that one compared to this. Because those dots are, look at these guys.
Yeah, you're saying they're a lot smaller than all that.
Look how small these ones are, and they're all
And they're all hanging on.
look how Like those are microscopic little dots. They're all on there.
Yeah, it could, like I said, it could be a calibration curve, maybe in Photoshop, but also on our in the RIP there's a calibration curve. Now that one one of our sales guys, he created that curve.
I want those settings in my files.
I want those settings.
Because that will fix all the problems we're having right here for sure.
Okay.
How do we do that?
I could probably mess with the calibration curve in the RIP and see.
Yeah, like maybe like can it bring more density on there somehow?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's stick around the density maybe, because I mean, yeah, like these dots that aren't coming out, they're gigantic compared to those. That doesn't seem right to me. So let's try and get those. If we can get all that stuff, then we're good. So yeah, maybe it's a density thing. I don't know. I want to just stand behind you and learn.
We haven't even come close yet.
So, what do you want to have a look at here? I don't know if I can tell a difference between those small dots or not. Like these ones, these were the ones that weren't washing out, were these. And like those are huge.
See that? These here?
Yeah, like this little area in the fingers and stuff, those weren't coming out. Those are gigantic compared to what we put to that little side.
Okay. Yeah.
So, let's have a look. But I think I blasted some of the fucking halftones right off by doing that. Yeah, we're not getting the results I'm looking for here. Because this is the results that we can get with film. So that's not good. We need to get better than, we did get better than this with film. But we were using a dual cure emulsion. Because yeah, like all these ones didn't come out. All those, like those are all big dots. We could definitely get them to come out with film. And this one had a way longer exposure time than this one.
Yeah. All that
Yeah,
stuff.
these results are the same as film to me right now. That's not good. We need better. What else can we try?
As far as halftones and stuff,
Yeah.
I only got this file in the vendors one.
Yeah, they obviously did some serious tweaking or something to the whatever this file to make it come out like that. 'Cause that's so. What can I do then to figure this out?
We could keep on messing with the calibration curve.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
We got one that's uncoated. Yeah, that's all we got. Overexposed. Well, I took a wild guess on this thing because like this is dual cure emulsion, so it's like I don't know what the fuck to put at, so I put at 30 seconds to start. So maybe we can go to a one emulsion system, but we just use this shit because that's 30 seconds. But look, we're gonna have to drop down to like fucking 20 at least. So that'll still speed us up a shit ton. We could just use this stuff for everything.
It's hanging on.
It's hanging on, so we're way over. So this can go down at least another 10 seconds, probably down even 15 seconds. We have 15 second exposure times. So again, there's no vacuum, right? So 15
That's
seconds.
still, we're still
saving
our time is
a minute per screen. More than that, because there's still film taping. We're
Yeah.
saving 2 minutes per screen. Got it. I'm in a rush to figure this out.
fucking reckless Ronald over here.
Oh, man.
Well, we'll have all day tomorrow too.
Yeah, you're here all day tomorrow too? Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that's good. So yeah, we'll
And some on Thursday if you need me.
oh
but-
shit, right on. So
Okay.
for a while. All right.
Yeah, in
Cool.
the afternoon then.
Okay, I can stop panicking then.
Now, all the hard work is actually done.
Okay, good.
The networking, the computer configuration,
Sweet.
and stuff like that. Yes, there are some factors that we may have to change to get better quality. I mean,
Okay,
in your, yes.
Well, I can relax a little bit. You almost saw a
relax.
grown man shit his pants.
No, well, I'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, we'll dial that in.
Yeah, we'll dial this in then.
Cool.
All right, everyone is gone for the day. We're almost there, but we definitely have some tweaking to do to make me happy. They have a demo file that we test printed and exposed, and when I looked at this thing, the LPI was extremely high. Like, I'm guessing somewhere between 75, 85, possibly even higher than that, because the dots were very, very small on this thing, and it printed and exposed perfectly. I was actually shocked at how perfect this thing came out. However, when we went back to test print one of my files at only 55 LPI, we weren't getting 100% of the dots, and actually a lot of the dots that should be coming out were not. So we've definitely got some issues going on here. I'm not sure what the hell it is just yet. We tested all kinds of different exposure times, and that was not helping. Of course, we were just backing off more and more and more, and we got down to like sub 2 second exposure times. We're talking like 1 second exposures, which is crazy that this exposure unit has that much power in it. But still, there were dots that should be very easily washing out that were not. So there's something going on here. Obviously, something with that demo file that they have has something special done to it, and I want to figure out exactly what that is so that we can make our files come out the same way. So John's out of here. He's going through all of his resources, trying to figure out exactly what to do so that we can get this thing dialed in tomorrow. And now I have to spend my entire night reclaiming and coding a bunch of screens so that we're ready to test. So we're back. Today we're gonna do some messing around with the density curves on this thing, trying to get a little bit darker halftones of the small stuff. I also got this, this little test that we can run on this thing. This is from Dot Tone Designs. This is gonna show all the different halftone values that we can expose properly, a bunch of different line weights, all kinds of stuff. This is probably the best test that we can throw at this thing to dial it in properly. We've spent all morning testing machine settings, exposure times, emulsions, the whole deal. We went through 12 300 mesh screens, 6 with photopolymer, and 6 with dual cure emulsion on them. So the machine settings, I went in there and I changed a few things. The first thing that I changed was the wax density. I changed that curve a little bit to kind of lighten it up in the solid areas and make it a little more solid in the light areas. That helped a lot. I also changed the halftone dot shape to round versus elliptical. I found we produced a little bit more detail with that, so we're sticking with round for now. And other than that, it really came down to exposure settings. This exposure unit produces some serious power. It's crazy how much light that thing throws. On our photopolymer screens, we got down to sub 1 second exposure times. We're at 0.08 seconds and catching a 3% halftone dot, which is absolutely insane. And then on the dual cure side, this is the one that really blew my mind. We got the dual cure emulsion down to a 10-second exposure time, which again, stupidly fast for that, and we have perfect 3% dots. We've got down to even in the 2% range, and we got perfect 6-point text, all kinds of stuff. And also, just to prove that that screen is exposed correctly, we blasted that thing at close range with the pressure washer for like 20, 30 seconds before it started ripping a hole through it. So I know my exposure times are dialed. So the goal was to get down to a 1 emulsion system here in the shop, and we did. It just wasn't the one that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be the photopolymer, but in reality, we're going to switch over to the dual cure because again, we're at 10-second exposure times. That is insanely fast. There's no way that a human can load the machine fast enough to beat that exposure unit. We could use photopolymer, but I mean, we're catching maybe like a 5% improvement versus the photopolymer with the dual cure. So those little improvements, man, that's what we're going for, is that little 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever we can gain as an advantage over everyone else, I'm taking it. So we're gonna go over to the dual cure emulsion and stick with that for now. So all we have left to do is to throw a couple images on some screens, get them on the press, and see if they perfectly stack up on a shirt with minimal to no registration. Let's see this thing for the first time. We are perfectly stacked, dead center on both screens on the first shot. 0 micro registration. So I think our setup times just got a little bit faster.
Straight out of the box. Perfect.
I love it. I gotta say, you know, I'm pretty good at this. So this design was the perfect test for this. It is full of long, fine lines, sharp lines. There's a lot of detail going on. These two screens are perfectly butt registered. That means there's no choke, no nothing. They have to stack 100% perfectly on top of each other. And it nailed it on the first try. I've been looking for imperfections in this thing and I can't find any. You know, when we look at the flames, we look at the teeth on the skull, even when you look at the registration marks and the job information, they are dead accurate, 100% on top of each other. It cannot get any better than this. This is gonna speed us up so much in the shop because we primarily print 6 to 8 color designs on a daily basis, which usually involves a lot of registration time. That will probably no longer be an issue. If anything, there'll be a little tweak here and there. Plus, this is butt registered. So when we print our day-to-day jobs, typically we have a little bit of choke, a little bit of trap here and there. So you can have a little bit of imperfection going on. No one will ever notice. So I'm doubting we're ever gonna have to do really anything. As long as we're matching up screen tensions perfectly between all our screens, in theory, we should just nail it, perfect registration every time without having to touch the micros. So when it comes to something like an 8 color design that's super complex, that could take our setup time down from like half hour, sometimes an hour to get that registration perfect to minutes, which is gonna be a huge, huge improvement. This is obviously a huge step in the right direction with us becoming more of a lean shop. And plus, we're still gonna improve a lot from here. It's only been 2 days of messing around with this thing. So once we get some time, we get a little more time to dial in, you know, exposure times and just settings on the machine, play around a little bit. I'm sure things are gonna step up quite significantly, but for now, I gotta say, I love this thing so much. This is honestly a dream piece of equipment that I've always wanted to have in my shop since day one when I started with that little heat press in my basement. So feeling good about that. Thank you, Exile. You guys rule and you make great shit. Make sure you guys follow along. We got plenty more content about this stuff coming as we put it through its paces. Click the thumbs up button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you again in the next one.